I'm Julius Mbatia, Acts Climate Justice Program Manager based in Nairobi. We've had the opportunity in 2025 to collaborate as an alliance in advancing climate justice across the world. We've had, in particular, the immense and unique moment as a community of faith organizations to drive important policy asks and make sure that we land them in the multilateral space, building upon work that we continually do at national and regional levels. For instance, in 2025, COP30 was an important political moment for the climate justice discourse. We did demonstrate as an alliance the power of lived influencing during moments of geopolitical divergences, which has not been seen before. We will justify as an alliance that we had a collaborative approach that allowed us to not only influence what countries think, but importantly land in key goals such as the tripling of adaptation finance commitment, where ACT engaged immensely together with its members. We also had the opportunity to influence the outcome of the global goal on adaptation. And importantly, we had the opportunity to drive exactly what the principles of a transition that is fair, just, and equitable should look like, and how they should be operationalized through a new just implementation mechanism for the transition discourse itself. We had also a fair chance at COP30 to not only speak about our faith messaging, but importantly, walk political leaders through those messages and demonstrate to them just how they're important through the engagement of faith leaders who are present in the 50 people ecumenical delegation at COP30. We have seen how our regions have as well responded to the increasing calls to enhance climate justice at a regional level. Giving examples of the Latin American and the Caribbean region, we demonstrated just how forum-centered influencing can happen through work conducted in Peru, Argentina, and Honduras. We did see young people coming together, releasing statements of faith that were delivered to policy makers and negotiators in those countries. We also saw faith leaders coming together and declaring that we are indeed in a climate emergency, and solidarity should not just be left as a mere say, but importantly should be actioned through faith-led programming at the local level, at the grassroots level. We also demonstrated just how important standing together with people in the front lines of the climate crisis is. For example, people who are on the move. And we did see just how rights-based approaches can be useful in dealing with the intersection between climate and migration. It did not just stop in luck. We did build a global movement. We also did the same in Africa, where we demonstrated just how African people of faith can influence high-level policy decisions at key moments such as the Africa Climate Summit. We did demonstrate just how key faith thinking can get into the decision making, and importantly the development of an agreement, or what we would call as the outcome decision of the Africa Climate Summit. We also, implementation has to be worked out. We need to showcase what's working on the ground, to have more compelling narratives that influence policy at a regional, national, and global scale. Through the locally led climate fund, ACT Alliance has emerged to be one of the leading faith organizations in demonstrating how grassroots approaches can be deployed. We have the locally led climate fund is getting into its third year programming cycle, and the results are real. We have over the last year reached communities in Zimbabwe, in Uganda, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, and in Liberia. Giving an example of what the fund has achieved in Zimbabwe, we have reached more than 676 households, providing clean water to them during times of drought, and during times when they need it for their smallholder agriculture. We have, in this particular context, reached more than 300 smallholder farmers. In Kenya, we have raised 124 climate change champions who are influencing policy at the local level. We have as well, in the same country, leveraged the platforms which we call village saving groups to demonstrate just how resilience and adaptation practices can leverage impact, providing both development and climate benefit. We have in Liberia conducted one rehabilitation, which has been led by the Liberian Forum, making sure that we have a catchment that avails water, that is protected, and that ensures that ecological services at optimum. We have in While we continue to do this good work through the commitment of the membership, much remains to be done. We appreciate and would acknowledge that climate finance is still at a low level, which means that we require much more financing to meet the growing climate needs in a changing climate over the coming years. We would appreciate as well that while commitments are made, they are not being delivered at scale. We would finally appreciate that without faith engagement to demonstrate, to showcase, but also to put pressure on governments and funders to release finance in a manner that is accessible, in a manner that is fair, in a manner that is equitable, we cannot continue with the implementation work that we are doing. As such, in 2026, Act Alliance then has to do two important things. One, we have to build a movement of faith actors and leaders together with other civil society allies that calls for scaled up climate finance, that calls for finance that is delivered at the scale that is required, and importantly, that showcases approaches of delivering climate finance that work, such as the locally led climate fund. Secondly, we have to build the tenets around the principles of the convention and its Paris Agreement, principles of fairness, principles of equitability, principles that ensure that no one is left behind, principles of rights, principles of how indeed people are meaningfully involved in achieving their climate ambitions. And these principles have to guide and guard what we stand for through our messaging across national, regional, and global levels. We have to, therefore, as an alliance, build conceptual understanding around implementation. We have to demonstrate how finance is delivered at the local level. We have to as well call governments to do more than they are doing right now, because climate action does not wait for the right time for implementation to happen. Climate action must happen now within the current circumstances as we influence change, structural, systemic, and importantly, social change that would ensure we sustain action at all times.